Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 3 of the Listen to This podcast. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I am Toka. I am joined by my wonderful friend here, Tyler. Say hello.
Yo. What's going on, everyone?
And we're just here to have a great time, man. We had a really fun time these last two. We brought face cam for the first time on the last one, and we're back with it again. So really excited.
I was gonna say it's always a great time with you. I don't know what you're saying. Like,
I mean, it's always a great time with you too. Yeah, I feel the same way for sure.
I feel like you're not feeling the exact same way.
No, I'm sure we feel the exact same way.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah, the exact same.
Good. That's good. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Something in my throat.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to cough that out real quick. My fault, guys. We got a lot to talk about today. Last week we told you guys about a couple albums that came out, and I think me and Tyler want to talk about them. First thing that I think we should talk about is probably the Black album.
Yes,
and
sir.
I think you should take that one away and give us your thoughts.
I do really want to hear your thoughts on it as well.
Bet,
But
yep. Okay, I got some thoughts.
I thought, yeah, I know you do. I thought that I really enjoyed it. I was a little interested from just the production aspect because it's very different from his last albums.
Yeah.
We really didn't hear any of this like more along the lines of pop and like really digging into some R&B as well. Especially Fatal Attraction and like B4L and Temporary. Temporary was insane.
Temporary was great.
I was happy to hear some experimentation and kind of a brighter side to Black's music. Because I feel like a lot of the time it was along the darker lines, like especially with his album Free Black and East Atlanta Love Letter. It was a very like mellow and sad and dark kind of instrumentation. But for this album, it seemed more on the relaxed side. Like it didn't feel very aggressive at all, which I really enjoyed. I thought tracks like Spirited Away and Inwood Hill Park, like they really had a place on this album, especially Inwood Hill. Like it's the way he put the album together that really made me, I don't want to say fall in love with it because I'm not completely in love with it, but really genuinely enjoy it. There's some songs on here which I personally could probably do without, which like that's just opinionated things.
Yeah.
Like Decatur is a little too poppy for me, and I don't really love the hook for Tit for Tat. But aside from that, honestly, like it's really a great album. I'm glad he put this out. I'm glad a lot of them were like solo as well. Like I think only has like 3 features on here.
Yeah, it's only.
Like, I know Wale and Don Toliver.
And Don Toliver, yeah. It wasn't a lot at all.
Yeah. It was really cool. Really, really cool album.
Yeah, I think for me, I kind of feel the same way. I thought it was really interesting. He's always like pretty chill on his album, but he definitely, I felt like the entire way on this record was just chill. Sometimes it got to a point where I felt like it was too relaxing. Like there was times where like I wanted to pick up because this is like a 19-song album. Yeah. And I feel like, at least from memory, like all the tracks feels very similar in regards to energy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like that, it's a super chill experience sometimes, and sometimes I want like him to like just bring a little bit of a boost.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, the actual tracks themselves were dope. I really like Spirited Away. I really like B4L. B4L was cool.
B4L was so cool.
Overall, like, for people who are fans of Black and what he does, I think this is a really solid addition to his discography. This is him once again showing his talents within a really chill R&B lane. I'm really excited for him to kind of venture out eventually from this.
Well,
go ahead.
He said that after making this album, because of tracks like Preach and Talk Back and Talk and things like that, he said he wanted to make like a fully rap album with the way that he raps.
I heard that, and I heard that he wanted to do
album
like with like No ID
Yeah.
and someone else, I forgot who.
Yeah, which I would love. I think that would fit in the discography perfect. I think it would
Me too.
really do really good for him
Mm-hmm.
and kind of cement him as like, hey, I'm not just this really chill singer that you could like kind of fuck to and shit like that. Like I can
Yeah.
also rap my heart out. Like, and he's proven that a lot,
For sure.
especially with like Know My Rights off that 6-piece. Like he did really
Yeah,
well
off
as a
DP.
rapper. Yeah.
That was cool how like in the intro that girl was talking about like all the his
all
past
the
projects.
albums.
Yeah, I was saying like, it's
Yeah.
really good. It's so funny.
Free Black, hot. East Atlanta Love Letter, hot.
Hot.
So cool.
But yeah, overall like a really cool album. I think if you're already a Black fan, you're gonna really
You're gonna
enjoy
love
this.
this.
Yeah, you're gonna love it.
There's no way to dislike it.
Yeah, I think for me, my only fault with it is that because it's 19 songs long, I would have liked a little more
little
energy,
switch.
like a couple tracks that really brought some energy. But overall, really
Mhm.
cool album. I think he delivered for sure.
I agree with that. I very much agree with that. I did need like a hard bass drop at some point.
Something or like
Yeah,
or like,
like-
you know what I mean, like or a
Like
complete
literally like Free. Like
Yeah.
we saw on Free Black.
or some sort of like vibe switch, because I feel like a lot of the production starts to feel like really similar. Like a lot of the drum.
I think that's
patterns
what
and the
Decatur
guitar.
was. I'm pretty sure that's what Decatur was supposed to be. Was like kind of that. Okay, let's switch it to more of a pop thing, but it was
Mhm.
like too pop. Like
I
don't
get
know.
that for sure. And I felt the same way you felt about Tit Tat or Tit for Tat.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I
Hook.
wasn't crazy
It
about
was-
that song. But he definitely has some really good songs on here. Overall, just a dope album. That's it. It was cool. Very relaxed, very chill. If you're into that, definitely be sure to go check that out. That's called Since I Have a Lover by Black.
Yes, sir.
Really cool project. Now, what also came out was Scaring the Hoes Volume 1 with JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown.
This was a fucking project.
Yes, it was. Oh my lord, it was. You want to get started on that? You want me to start?
I want you to give your initial thoughts on it, but like, just gotta say, like, we called, or not we, mainly you called that one Redville feature,
Dude, I knew it in my gut,
Oh,
bro. I knew it, absolutely.
and they're dropping a song. Redville has him on his next single.
Yes,
So-
and it sounds so cool already just off the
Yeah.
little teaser. It sounds like, oh my
Yeah.
god. Yeah, so let me just, on that note, let me just start off by saying, so cool to see Redville on this album. Really cool. He did a great job. That was
the
really
only
cool to see.
feature.
A great verse. The production on this album, I know, is pretty much entirely JPEG Mafia, from what I've heard. And it is so freaking crazy. I mean, if you've listened to JPEG Mafia projects before, it wasn't necessarily like, you weren't expecting it to not be crazy, but then going into it, it's like, wow, it's so
It wasn't like this though.
sporadic
It's
and
never
all over
been
the
like
place.
this, especially with the beat switches. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
man?
the beat switches are crazy. Just
Crazy.
the sample usage also in general. I mean, he does
Yeah.
things that are like, I don't know, so him. Like
Yeah.
it's really so unique. And what I really appreciate about this record is that it really does feel like music that would scare the host. Like it really
Yeah.
feels like that type of music. Like they knew exactly what they were going for, and I think they both delivered. Danny Brown has one of, if not the most unique voice ever in hip hop, and hearing him go over these like insane beats is just, it's awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I love it. And JPEG Mafia has such a, I feel like, a underrated delivery. Like when we talk about JPEG Mafia, I don't think we usually talk about his delivery. Like what he does with his voice, and every time he raps, like it just feels like it's going hard all the time. Like it's so cool.
Yeah.
And that was really cool to see. It's such a chaotic album, but I really find myself enjoying it because it's like, it's refreshing. You know what I mean? It's not like everything else that we hear or that we have heard. It's something that feels
absolutely
new,
different,
right?
Yeah,
Like it feels like
Absolutely
completely in
different.
its own lane, like entirely.
Yeah. I didn't even know where to like place it. Like,
Exactly.
It felt hip hop, soul, and like just fucking, like they made their own contemporary genre out of it. It
Like
was so
Entropy,
cool.
bro. Like it was just crazy.
It
yeah,
was so
like,
cool.
It was
Like
so nuts.
Perfect is fucking crazy.
As far as like a favorite track for me, I really liked Jack Harlow Combo Meal. I thought that was so funny.
Dude, it's hilarious that they named it
It
that.
was so
Oh my
funny, dude.
god.
It was so good. I think what's so cool about these two artists being together is that they both have such like a great sense of humor. So
Yeah.
when you're listening to these songs, it's like you'll just get hit with random punchlines that make you laugh. And you know what I mean? It's
Yep.
just like random things you hear.
Dude, that's why I wanted to see Zach Fox on this album. It would have been so funny.
That would have been really funny. But yeah, man. Shout out JPEG Mafia. Shout out Danny Brown. I think they
For
did an
real.
amazing job. That was really, really cool. They delivered exactly what they were supposed to deliver. This also made me really, 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 really want a new Danny Brown album. Like, also just like one of his
Yeah.
own. Like, I really want to hear another Danny Brown album. It's been a while.
Honestly, yeah, I haven't listened to Danny Brown much, like
So
album
good.
wise. So
He's so
I'm
good.
I'm really like interested to go back in his discography and check out what he has. It was really cool seeing him and hearing him. And honestly, his voice does feel it's like you said, very unique and very new.
Mhm.
But at the same time, he kind of vocally, like the way he sounds, kind of reminds me of Andre a little bit.
I hear it. I think they're
It's
they're
that like
both stubborn.
slight yeah, it's that slight nasally and like higher voiced type of rapping. Like, it sounds really good.
Absolutely. Definitely, if you're going to go listen, you got to listen to Atrocity Exhibition. Like, that album, for me,
Okay.
from him, is, like, a classic. Like, really, it's that good of an album. It's, like, he has a serious rap classic there.
Oh, Kendrick's on that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It's him, I think, Earl.
Absol and Earl, yeah.
Dude, that track is crazy. The Earl sweatshirt verse at the end is just insane.
Damn.
Kendrick bodies obviously too.
Yeah, of
Is
course.
Crazy. And he has one of my favorite hip hop songs ever, if you even consider it just hip hop song. Ain't It Funny on that album. Ain't It Funny is just crazy. Definitely something you gotta check out.
Yeah, I'll check that shit.
Yeah, I think you'd like it for
I'm
sure.
very excited.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. So yeah, really want like even I just want to hear more Danny Brown. Like this really made me want to hear more Danny Brown verses. He's really cool because I just love how he talks about things.
I like his phrasing.
Yeah.
Like his phrasing is so interesting. The way he puts together his rhymes is it's it's like I don't know. There's rappers like that, like Smino and Jid, where they write in such an odd way, but like his is so strange and it's so cool. Like it just works.
But it feels so like visual sometimes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I feel like
Yeah.
when he talks, sometimes I can like see what he's talking about. Like I
Right.
don't know, like in a weird way. But also, it's like I don't know. It's like you have to keep listening to it because, especially with sometimes the speed he's rapping at, the production behind him, his unique voice,
The
in
way
general.
he's mixed too.
Right, his mix. You have to like sometimes listen over and over again just to like fully understand like an idea or a bar that was said or something like that, which
Right.
is pretty cool, at least for me as someone who's into that and enjoys like listening to something more and getting more and more out of it every time.
It was such a cool album to like just experience. I'm extremely excited to see what they do moving forward. I
Yeah.
hope they have more features. I hope they move I hope JPEG. I mean, granted, the production was beautiful. Given that it was really probably only JPEG,
Yeah,
production was amazing.
he's so talented.
I would love to see some like work with like maybe Alchemist or like fucking any other soul, like Hit Boy even would be cool. I don't know. Like just I would love some slight assistance. Like I think it would add so much more to the second version of this this duo.
Yeah,
But I mean, I loved it so much.
it's gonna be really interesting to see if Volume 2 is just like Volume 1 in regards to
Yeah.
sounds and all those things, or if they just go somewhere else entirely with it. If they go on different producers,
I'd
beats
be
or something
fine
like
either
that.
way. Like
Yeah, I think me too.
it was really cool.
Because I'm not gonna lie, like if they do something similar in sound to this one, it's still gonna be so uniquely its own. Like it's just
Yeah.
still gonna be so crazy, and every track is gonna be so different.
I think the second one definitely needs more features because this one was definitely lacking features so that they can like introduce themselves together, like and see like show like this is us, this is what we're doing.
And honestly, I think they have really good synergy together. Like, I think
The splits were perfect.
Yeah.
The way they rapped off each other was perfect.
that was great, and I didn't feel personally like one person took up too much time within the album. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because some collab albums, it's like
Drake and 21 Savage. It's like that.
yeah, like some collab albums is like one person is clearly dominating here over everything else. You know what I mean? If you guys are listening to this, if you guys haven't listened to it already, make sure to go check out "Scaring the Hoes" Volume 1 by JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown. Really, really cool. Excited to hear more from them as duos. Excited to hear more from them as solo artists.
I need another JPEG album.
Yeah, and
Can't wait
excited
for
for Red Veil and whatever he's gonna do.
Yeah.
Whether it's album or just singles or
He
what.
looks like he's ready to drop an album.
Honestly, yeah, he does, and I'm really excited to hear what him and JPEG did. Really, really excited.
Yeah,
for it.
me too.
That's gonna be so cool. Now, we have something that we said we were gonna talk about this episode.
Something controversial.
Something a little controversial, yeah.
Tad bit.
A little tad bit controversial. We're gonna talk about what the best J. Cole album is.
Jermaine
Cole. Now, I have an idea. Let me know what you think.
Mm-hmm.
Let's quickly go through each album and say why it is, could be, or couldn't be the J. Cole's best album. That sound good?
No, that's a good idea.
Okay.
I like that.
So let's start with Sideline Story. We just all agree that's not the best J. Cole album, right?
I think it's easy to agree that
Right.
one. Like it's not J. Cole and he's not in his bag and he's not in his his element. That's literally just him trying to show you like what he's capable of. And he does that perfectly with Dollar and a Dream, obviously, everything like that. Like he does it really well. Workout even. Like it's great. Not his best.
I think you have highlights like things nostalgically that we go listen to. Like, oh yeah, that was great. That
100%.
Cool. But
Nice watch.
right. But most of Sideline Story, I just feel like it doesn't really feel like that's what Cole is to me. It doesn't encapsulate him as an artist, and
It's also not cohesive like as an album. Like, and we're trying to discuss his not favorite, but his best album.
Yeah. And I think that's it too. I think that was so early in his career. I mean, some people have some of his mixtapes, right, like Friday Night Lights or whatever, as his best project. And I understand why. Those are amazing, but
yeah, but I also don't see that as his best album.
yeah, I agree. I don't think it's his best either. But definitely, I don't think Sideline Story is his best. It's not a bad project by any means. I don't think J. Cole has a bad album.
No,
I don't think it
doesn't exist.
Even like for the record, like we're gonna talk about some of these albums not being his best albums, but J. Cole doesn't have like a truly like bad.
We fuck with every album he's dropped.
Yeah, like
this is Jermaine Cole. We don't hate him by any means.
Yeah, we're actually really big J. Cole fans. We love J. Cole, so that's why we're very passionate about what his best album is. And that's why we said we were gonna talk about it on this episode. So. Just a quick disclaimer out of the way, so no one thinks that we just hate J. Cole albums.
Yeah, we're not hating J. Cole.
We're just talking about what's the best J. Cole album here. That's all.
We're being real. We're being
for sure
honest about this shit.
Yes, yeah. We don't want to lie to y'all. So that's Sideline Story. I think we all agree on that. That's Sideline Story.
I haven't heard anyone say that's their favorite album.
Me neither. Now, well, I've heard a lot of people say is their favorite J. Cole album.
Too many.
Is Born Sinner. You go ahead and take this one away, and I'm going to give my piece after.
I mean, I'll try. It's just like, if we're thinking about all of his projects, we're thinking about even For Your Eyes Only. I know it's not his best, but still, that one has cohesion. It makes sense. Like, it has an entire story. He's rapping about shit that went on in his life. This album, it's like, it's good. Songs like Power Trip, songs like She Knows, like they're classics. Forbidden Fruit is cool. Like we have a J. Cole and Kendrick feature. He has James Fauntleroy on here. It's cool, but it feels like just like a mixtape of like a bunch of songs, like random songs. At some points, it feels like random songs. I don't see how this could be his best. He's rapping his brains out, but like on KOD, we're gonna say that KOD isn't better than Forbidden Fruit and like any other song that he's dropped on that album. Like ATM and his best fucking shit, like Kevin's Heart, like Window Pane, 1985. That is crazy to me that y'all are saying Born Sinner is better than KOD, better than even his most recent shit, Off Season. Like, come on.
I get it from this perspective. That album has some classic, like some J. Cole classic songs, right? So
Right.
You name some of them, right? Power Trip is an all-time classic with Miguel. Is one of the best songs off the album. You have Crooked Smile is a classic. You have She Knows is a classic. You have Forbidden Fruit, which is kind of underwhelming because Kendrick didn't give us a verse, but is still a really cool song. Me personally, I love Chaining Day. Chaining Day is on that album. It's like one of my favorite J. Cole songs ever. I love that song. Land of the Snakes is kind of cool. But then the rest of the album is just not like crazy like that. It's not bad by any means, but when we talk about like the other albums we're gonna name, where I can say like every track
Everything
or
is a
almost
hit.
every track is like crazy.
Yeah.
Born Sinner is just not like that. That's it. It's just not like that. He also has Let Nas Down. I will say that too on Born Sinner. He has Let Nas Down. Let Nas Down is great. But still, overall, I just don't think that I've never understood how that album can be somebody's favorite album. I think there's just
favorite. I understand. Favorite is always opinionated.
You're right.
It's like you
Favorite's
have to respect
different.
that.
Right.
But like
but the best.
The question
J. Cole album.
the question I've always seen get asked is what's their best.
Yes.
And people saying Born Sinner is like, have you listened to all of Cole's projects? Like, actually sat down and listened to them.
Right.
Because to me, I don't see how it could be his best. Again, a great project. Like you said, it has bangers. Like, it has really, really, really monumental songs for J. Cole. But, like, if you move on to the next album, you see every song as basically a hit.
Yep.
Literally, the first, like, 9 songs are just straight hits of his project of 2014.
Yep. And that's the next project is Forest Hills Drive. For me, it might be his best. I think it might be his best. I would be willing to argue it's his best. It's between that or one of the next 2 albums for me. But we'll talk about those when we get there. For me, Forest Hills Drive might be the best. And I'll quickly say the reason why. The reason why is that from beginning to end, this man it's just hit after hit after hit. January 28th is one of my favorite J. Cole songs.
I think it is my favorite J. Cole song.
It might be mine too. Like, it legit might be mine too.
It's one of the best like songs period I've heard in a long fucking time since I first heard it.
Great.
It's amazing.
Song.
And then to follow that up with Wet Dreams and then '03 Adolescence.
Storytelling classic. '03 Adolescence.
And then Tale of Two Cities.
Banger.
And then Fire Squad.
Yeah,
and then Saint Tropez, and then Get On My Dick.
That's crazy.
Like, and then No Role Models. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and No Role Models is on there, which is a classic.
Yep.
Right?
And Apparently, and Love Yours.
Yeah.
Note to Self is a great outro, too.
Dude, like, when you just name those tracks, are you serious? Love Yours, No Role Models, January 28th, all on the same album. Fire Squad, all on the same album. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's
fucking
crazy.
Yo, that one YouTuber's reaction to Fire Squad, I remember he fucking freaked out. Oh my god, I gotta find that.
Dude, like, and that's why I think it might be his best album. That is in my opinion, that is a classic record. Absolutely. To me, I have no doubt about that. Is a classic record. There are not a lot of songs on there that don't hit for me. Like, there's not a lot of skips on there. Maybe sometimes if I'm not in the mood for the intro, I skip the intro, but I like the intro. The outro is super long, so maybe sometimes I skip that, but that's mostly it. If you say 2014 Forest Hill Drive is J. Cole's best album, you might be
valid.
right.
Yeah, I understand that.
Valid. You might be right.
I understand that completely.
For sure. Now let's talk about another contender. For Your Eyes Only is really overhated. Like it gets a lot of hate, bro.
Thank you.
I've never understood why. I think the concept is super cool. Not that it's a perfect album,
No,
because it's
but
not.
it's so beautiful.
It's a beautiful
Like,
album though. Yeah.
the way he puts it together, it makes everything make sense.
Yep.
And it's Big Quint, by the way.
Oh, Big Quint. It was Big Quint.
That's
okay.
who it was.
Cool. That's awesome.
Dude, it's so pure in the way that he puts the album together. He's literally rapping about it's a story of his friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his daughter when he gets the she's mine part. Like, it's so pretty to see everything come together. I mean, there's parts of the album where it feels like the cohesion's not entirely there, like with Folding Clothes and even like, I don't know, Deja Vu or something. Everything else is so sick. Change is so
Oh my
good.
God,
Like,
that song is so
that's
good.
one of his best songs, and it's so beautiful. Like, She's Mine Part 1 and 2. There's not a single soul that I've met, at least in Queens, that doesn't know both of them by heart.
She's
like-
Mine Part 1 and 2 are both great.
They're amazing. The outro is great. The intro is great. For Whom the Bells Toll.
Oh, yeah.
That fucking crazy. Like, it's insane.
Immortal.
Neighbors is just a banger.
Yep.
Like, when you hear that drum drop, you know it's Neighbors. You're like, oh fuck, I guess the neighbors think I'm selling. Like,
dope.
it's fire. Ville Mentality's really cool. J. Cole experiments with his voice really well.
Oh my God, I love Ville Mentality. It's one of my favorite. J.
Really,
Cole
really
songs.
nice. And just the story he's telling here. We haven't seen J. Cole like tell stories before. And he does so in such a pretty way and in his own way over just 10 songs. And that's why I feel like it's a really good contender. And sometimes, honestly, like, mine fluctuates a lot. It's either For Your Eyes, KOD, or 2014. But mine mainly stays on For Your Eyes because I feel like he's telling such a beautiful and powerful story here. And a lot of people aren't, like, seeing that. They're just like, oh my God, it's like so dreary, so sad. Like, bro, listen to the song. Listen. It's so pretty. And it's real and it's raw and it's what we needed J. Cole to do at that moment in time. It was 2016. Like, it was a great time for him to drop this album.
Would you say it's your favorite J. Cole album
I think so.
of all his albums?
Either this one or Off Season is my favorite, but I'm leaning towards this one because I find myself listening to Neighbors and Change and Immortal. Like, I find myself listening to those way more often than like a lot of the other songs, other than 2014. I mean, I listen to that shit all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think as an album, this is probably my favorite.
I pretty much agree with everything you said. Conceptually, I think this was such a great idea. I think the outro track, the title track For Your Eyes Only, is
Amazing.
one of the best storytelling tracks I've ever heard. It's one of J. Cole's best songs, I think, at least in his
Best
top 10
writing.
best songs. Yeah, especially in some of his best written songs. Changes is amazing. I can't get over Changes. That verse 3. Prodigal son got a
It
new
is
gun. Just want to run out of ammo. Lately been working on my handles. Dude, it's so
It is
crazy.
so ridiculous.
Ville Mentality is such a cool, jazzy, smooth cut, and I just love a lot of the things that he's talking about here. It just comes off so genuine, and like I don't know, this album feels like Cole had a lot on his mind, like a lot resting on him. You know what I mean? And what's cool, right, is that an album like 2014 conceptually is more so like J. Cole's story, right? And at this point, up until 2014 Forest Hills Drive, Cole has been mostly, as far as projects are concerned, been rapping mainly about himself, which is cool. He's telling a story and all these things. But this was like the first album from him that was like really conceptually driven to be about someone else or about a certain story he wanted to tell that wasn't like just his personal like journey within his childhood or within hip-hop, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he proved that with this album he can rap about things that everyone can kind of slightly relate to, especially people that grew up like him could relate to, without actually talking about his life. And he kind of continues that in the next album after this too. So it's such a great thing to see Cole do, and especially during that time, like the country was going through a lot with racism in 2016. So it's like
They still are.
it still is, obviously. So
Yeah.
it was really nice to see that.
I always wonder if he was in part inspired by
T-Pab?
these people screaming outside my window. Yeah, in part inspired by T-Pab because
Mm.
that album definitely has a lot of jazz influence, like a
Yeah.
lot, just like T-Pab
Well,
does.
This one wasn't too jazz influenced, other than that last track. But I see what you mean.
I think Ville
Subject-
Mentality. Also,
yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was definitely a writing wise, at least it was very inspired, creatively.
Yeah,
I think.
I always wondered that. But either way, if you say For Your Eyes Only is J. Cole's best album, I probably wouldn't disagree with you. I would not fight you on it. I think it has an argument for being his best. I think the
Yeah.
only flaws of that album is like
There's
Folding Clothes. That's it. I'm not a big fan of that
There's Folding
song
Clothes.
personally, but literally pretty much everything else I can think of.
Sometimes that song be hidden. Like if you put it on like on a drive, like that should be hidden.
There's this really cool like pre-chorus part and like the chords
Yeah.
and everything. Steve Lacy did the production, so it's like
Yeah.
it's really cool. It's just for me. I personally don't even think it's a bad song. It's just not like. For
It's
me.
not a bad song.
Yeah, it's not.
It's just it doesn't really belong on the album too much.
That's kind of how I feel too. But he's got classics on there. Like Neighbors is a classic. That's a J. Cole
It's
classic
so
forever.
good. I mean, if we're talking about classics, this next one is like perfect for
Yeah.
J. Cole classics.
so I don't know if we have a bias because we were in high school when it came out or something.
hip-hop?
Yeah, or what it is. KOD is again a crazy overhated album. I don't know why so many people have hated on this album. And
I feel like J. Cole in general people want to hate on. It makes no sense.
that's true. That's another conversation too. Like J. Cole in general as an artist gets so much hate for like nothing sometimes. Like literally like people
Crazy.
just want to like just insult him or make fun
They
of him.
want
bring
to
him down.
not like him, even though he's so fucking likable.
Even though he seems like a like really authentic person and he like
He is.
actually makes effort within his music, and we all it's so weird, right? Because I've noticed this recently. Like J. Cole is one of the biggest rappers ever. He has
Yeah.
consistently broken records when he has dropped albums, and it's like for some reason people like pretend like they don't listen to him or something like that, and then when he drops something, we all love it. Like it's all crazy, blah, blah, blah. And then when he's been
Yeah.
quiet, you just see people like talking. J. Cole's not that good. All the
Yeah.
time. So weird. It's so convoluted. It's so like
it makes no sense
yeah.
at all.
It just flips.
0 sense.
But yeah, man. Let's talk about KOD. I think KOD
Yep.
is a really really good album. I think
I think it could be his, like, honestly, obviously my favorite's not 2014, For Your Eyes Only, but I think this could be his best.
I
I
think
really
there's an
do.
argument. I'll say that for sure. I think there's an argument. I think the only track that I don't like on this album is Photograph. That's
Yeah, you
it.
told me that.
Yeah, I've told you I don't like Photograph. But every other track on this album I think is so good. Or it's just really cool, even if it's not like a great
Yeah.
track. It's like a really good track.
Because he was able to tap into this generation of music, which like a lot of old school rappers weren't trying to do. They weren't trying to conform into that.
I
Like-
think it's so cool because it's like a lo-fi trap album. Like it's so cool.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like it's
I mean,
such an
Kevin's
interesting
Heart.
sound.
Kevin's Heart is easily one of his best songs.
I love Kevin's Heart.
Easily one of his best songs. Like it's so good.
I couldn't
and
stop
it's
listening
like
to it when it came out.
the social criticism on this album is great. The way that a lot of people can fucking relate to it. The way he talks about real shit like money and how difficult it is like in rap to like maintain that money. It's like it's kind of an eye opener. Like it really he does it in such a smart way. He talks about drug use perfectly, which is it fits the title, which even the title has like 4 different fucking ways of
meanings.
interpretation.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I feel like if the title evokes that emotion like 4 different fucking ways, it's instantly kind of a classic album, especially when it's displayed in such a like perfect way through the tracks on the album. Like
Well, that's the thing too.
Makes no
I
sense.
think he kind of like I don't know. There's a couple songs where I disagree with a sentiment that he says, but
that's normal. That's
right,
fine.
which is normal. But overall, like the concept here is like really well done, or
Yeah.
at least well done. Like,
And it stays. It
Right.
stays throughout the album.
the ways he just talks about addiction, and addiction in different ways. Addiction to lust, addiction to drugs, addiction to money, right? And all these different things.
Yeah.
And that he critiques the ways that we tend to cope with trauma and that we tend to cope with pain. And I think it's on Window Pane Interlude, right? That he delivers
my
that
God.
amazing story. And to me,
So
like,
good.
tracks like that right on this album are where he's displaying trauma, right? Like he's telling a story that's traumatic, that is embedded in pain, in real life pain. And then he takes that, and all around it, right? He shows how that leads to victims of that.
Everything.
Right, everything kind of connects because victims of that, those type of stories, cope in unhealthy ways. They're the children of parents who cope in unhealthy ways, and then those parents and those victims and so on and so forth are within a system that is already encouraging them to either cope in those ways or are overwhelming them with so much problems and such a lack of support, or in some cases, right, oppression and things of that nature, that they don't feel like they have another way to deal with that pain than in that way. And
Right.
for me, when that album came out, like especially in that point in my life, it was like, I don't know, it felt like a real eye opener for me. It was the first time, because we were how old?
First time,
16, 15, something like that when that album came out?
around there.
Right.
It's the first time rappers really ever talked about it.
At least for a whole album. I can't think of like an
Yeah.
album that was dedicated to it. I wouldn't be surprised if it exists, but I'm
Right.
just off the top of my head, I can't think of an album that's dedicated to talking about addiction
Just
in that
pure
way,
addiction
to all those
in
different
every single
things.
way. Yeah. It's really cool because he's not just talking about it in his life. He's trying to relate it to everyone, which is why the outro actually makes a lot of sense, even though it's a quote unquote intro.
Right, to the fall off.
Like, it makes sense as to cap off this project to talk about a rapper, or not just talk about him, but like mention a rapper who kind of fell for the addictions and fell off. It was just really perfect to cap off that album with the 1985 outro.
And what's really cool about that song is that it was probably the second time, but it was one of the first times where we heard J. Cole talk about something and we were like, oh, J. Cole's right. Because it ended up like coming true. Like everything he said, everything he warned against, everything he said, like ended up happening.
It's such a crazy moment.
Right, like 1985 was like that. What's the song where he talked about Kanye? Damn. It's not Everybody Dies. It's not High for Hours.
No. It might be Everybody Dies.
It wasn't Everybody Dies. It definitely wasn't. Oh my
Sure?
god, I'm gonna be pissed. Yeah, 1 second.
I know what you're talking about. The one, is that the one where he's rapping on the car?
Where he's
Or
on
is
the
that
bus.
just
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my god, I'm so pissed. False Prophets.
It was right.
It was False Prophets. That's what it was. And that was another time. Oh my god, dude, those singles.
That one is crazy. I love that
So
he was the
crazy.
one to do that shit too.
That was really cool. Yeah,
I love
that he
that.
talked about those things. That was really cool. Those singles, False Prophets, High for Hours.
High for Hours is so sick.
Dude, Everybody Dies
Bro,
is one of my favorite J. Cole songs.
Dog,
It's just a
I'd be
single,
fine
bro.
with people saying that's their favorite album.
for real, bro. And that was all that like right before For Your Eyes Only era. Like,
Yeah.
those are all the singles leading up, and then none of those were on the album.
Dude, that
It's
one like freestyle that he put before, that shit was kind of crazy.
Which one?
Where he was literally rapping like on the back of a car.
That was
like-
Everybody Dies. That was the Everybody
that
Dies
Everybody
one.
Dies?
Yeah, that was Everybody Dies. I love that video so much.
Dude, I thought,
It's so
yeah,
cool.
no, that video, like the cinematography and filmography was great.
That
Like, it
was
was
really
perfect for
cool.
that song.
Yeah, that was
But-
really cool.
Dude, I thought that was like a freestyle that he was doing. I'm not remembering correctly.
I think you think that because it was in the
This
documentary, and so like in the documentary it just appears like that.
That's
Yeah,
why. That's
yeah,
why.
that's why.
Yeah. Thank
Um,
you.
no problem. Yeah, so I guess that wraps it up with KOD.
Yeah.
If you
I mean,
said that was his best
off-season-
album, I would say that's a really cool underrated pick. I don't think it's
I
his
agree.
best album, but it's a contender, I think.
It definitely could be.
Yeah.
I think off season, honestly, it's still a little too fresh, for me at least.
For me too.
To say that it's his best, especially because we've had so much time with the other albums. That's not to say that there's not just kind of unlimited bangers on here, because there are.
Mhm.
I'd say the only songs that don't hit are like 100 Mil.
Yeah, that didn't stick.
That's
with
the
me.
only one actually.
I didn't really stick with
Punching
me.
the Clock is like kind of okay, but
I like
like
punching the clock. Yeah.
yeah, but like all of the rest of them fucking hit. Again, comparatively to 2014 to KOD and For Your Eyes Only, I don't think it's his best. But like, bro, I mean, Lil Baby's verse is crazy. Let Go My Hand is beautiful. My Life is great. If you say this is your favorite album, I have no problem in my mind accepting that. Like, there's no issue at all.
I think for me, it's definitely not his best album, but it's one of his best written albums in regards to
Yeah.
like actual rhyme schemes and punchlines. Like from a technical, like that standpoint, that technical standpoint, it's one of his best ever. The rhyme schemes on this album are crazy. He didn't really, at least to me, go for like some crazy concept like he did on the last two albums. Not that
Right.
I'm familiar with anyway. But he just went at it like, I'm gonna just rap. I'm just gonna rap my face off.
Yeah,
and
that
go.
was this album.
Right.
It really was this
and
album.
and that was his album from top to bottom. It's just him rapping his face off. I think
And it
him
made
just having a
sense.
good time.
Because,
He talks about things, but it's not like a
yeah.
whole stretching concept. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, and it makes sense because the way the album cover even is, it feels very mixtape like.
Yeah.
Like it's literally just him in front of a flaming basketball hoop because he just wants to fucking go off, and
Yeah.
he shows that from the intro, all the way down.
Oh yeah, for sure. 95 South.
It's perfect. But you have conscious songs like "Let Go of My Hand" and even the
Close.
interlude and "Close" and "Hunger on a Hillside." Like
The
you have
Climb
these
Back.
songs that really, yeah, climb back. They really like tie together the album and it makes it an album.
Absolutely. And Let Go of My
really
Hand
nice.
is definitely
One of my favorite songs of that year.
Yeah. One of my favorites off the album for sure.
Yeah.
And it was just cool because for the last two albums before that, it was vast majority, if not entirely, J. Cole production, like his own production.
Yeah,
I think J. Cole's a very underrated producer,
I agree.
but it was really cool to have someone like a Timbaland on here. You know what I mean? Like for him to
T-Minus,
get like
Boy
some different,
Wonder. Yeah.
like some different type of beats, is really cool. And actually, for future J. Cole projects, that's definitely one of the things I want. I want him to continue to get over different production. Honestly, I would love if he found a producer to lock in with and they did like a collab album. Like if it was a him and a No ID or him and a Madlib. Like I would love for him to just
Oh
lock
my god,
in with
him and
someone to do
Madlib or
that.
Alchemist would be fucking crazy.
Dude, that would be crazy.
Who produced that Benny song? Was that Alchemist?
Which Benny song? Oh, the one
The
with
one
him
that
and
Benny
Cole?
has with Cole, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who produced that.
Johnny P's Caddy. I'm gonna check right now.
Check right now. Cool.
That was Alchemist. Yeah,
It was
him and
Alchemist.
Alchemist would be crazy.
Dude, he would body everything. It would be amazing.
I don't know if you saw, but I'm so excited to see what he does with the "It's a Boy" album. Like that
Yeah.
one's really cool. I don't know how it's gonna be. It seems like it's gonna be storytelling. So I'm super excited for that.
So curious about that because he teased it with the picture, right?
Yeah,
and-
the Notebook.
Mm-hmm. But I haven't really heard him talk about it or anyone from his team talk about it. I've heard him talk about the
Right.
fall off, but I haven't heard them talk about It's a Boy. And I'm just so curious to know what that's going to sound like, what the exact concept is. I assume it has to do with him being a father.
Yeah.
So I'm really
Well, he
curious
just
to
had
see.
another kid, right?
Yeah.
Just had
Mm-hmm.
in quotes.
In quotes, yeah. So I'm really curious to see how those albums go. Just as a J. Cole fan who once again really doesn't think he's put out a bad project. I think he just
Yeah.
keeps delivering. And the last 3-4 albums he's been on a run. Like he's been on that stretch for
And
me,
not
so.
even just with the albums, the features he's done
Oh my God.
throughout that, the Dreamville project, everything.
So I think J. Cole most likely is the best feature rapper ever. Like I can't think off
Ever.
top of my head because the run he had,
I think with the amount he's done, yes.
right? Like the amount he has done, and not just the amount, but the quality of every single song, even songs that like probably wouldn't have been as good without him, he just makes better because he went on there and delivered a really great verse. And he did so many and he literally didn't miss.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. And then even throughout last year, right? When he would hop on something, like when he would hop on the London track, right? Or things of that nature. Even the YG track, right? Which I wasn't super into.
Yeah.
But I messed with his verse, you know what I mean? Like every single thing that he touches is incredible.
He was on recently on a track with that Korean artist.
Oh, dude, yeah,
On the
J-Hope,
street.
right? Is his name?
Yeah, he was with J-Hope.
Dude, that
Like,
song was
what?
dope. Yeah, and he just killed it.
Crazy. Yeah.
It was great.
I think you're right about J. Cole as the feature artist. It's either him or like Lil Wayne or something.
Something like
Because
that.
I feel like Lil Wayne has the same effect when he hops on a track.
I feel that way too about Lil Wayne for sure. I don't think Lil Wayne. I don't
think he has enough features like J. Cole has, and he didn't go on that streak like J. Cole. Nobody really did.
J. Cole went on a
literally
crazy
said
run.
He said for like an entire year, like no album, I'm just doing features.
And it was
Like,
unprecedented. Really, I've never seen anything like that. I mean,
Made
we're
no
young, but I've
sense.
never seen anything like that. I've never heard of anything like
and
that.
I think that was the same time like Middle Child dropped too.
Mhm.
Like fucking crazy.
The only other rappers that I think are in contention with him for that title of best feature artist ever are Lil Wayne, Andre 3000,
Yeah.
and then
Andre definitely.
from there to like artists that do amazing features but aren't always rapping and they're sometimes doing rapping or a more melodic performance. I think the two that come to mind are like T-Pain and Anderson .Paak. Like those are the other two that come.
Wow.
To mind.
Interesting.
Yeah. So for me, like when I think of like the best feature artists, like I mean, like I feel like they're a cheat code when they hop onto a track
Yeah.
and have done this so many times to prove that it's those artists. But for me, just slightly, J. Cole is the best. Like I think he's the best just because of that feature run. I've really never seen anything like that, and I would argue for him being the best.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. And it's nice to see like people like Lil Baby who also have that same effect when they hop on even his record.
Yeah.
Where we were like, oh my fucking God, is that him?
Yeah, Lil Baby ran that joint, dude. Pride is the Devil. That dude, he killed that. And
Crazy.
then Wants and Needs with Drake, he ran that too. Yeah.
Crazy.
Lil Baby was doing that thing that year, bro. He was going crazy. That was 2021.
2020, 2021, yeah. But look, I mean, much love to all of your favorite J. Cole albums. There's no disrespect here. Like we said, we love all of what J. Cole drops. It's just when we think about his best album, we really want to think about it and like listen to everything and like consider, okay, this is why it really can't be his best album.
We talk passionately and honestly, but at the end of the day, it's just an opinion. Whatever you think J. Cole's best album is or what, that's your opinion, man, and good for you. And by no means are we trying to hate on that or anything like that. By all means, enjoy what you enjoy. We just wanted to give our thoughts real quick on like that conversation because J. Cole does have a pretty extensive discography now. So
I did want to mention last week because I said I was gonna listen to the Slow Tie album.
Yes,
I ended up listening to it.
Nice.
The I think the genre you were looking for was mainly like a punk rock.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
genre.
yeah.
That's what he was doing on there.
Punk it, yeah.
And I think he did that perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
I think of all of the like British UK rappers that were gonna do that, he makes the most sense. Like songs like "Falling," oh my god,
Yeah,
that song was great. "Never Again."
Really one of my favorite Slow Tie songs
I
ever
mean,
right now.
of the year right now, definitely one of my favorite songs.
For sure.
Fucking
Absolutely.
beautiful. He did really well on that project, so I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, shout out that, man. The shout out
Yeah.
Ugly. I also wanted to mention I listened to 2 albums that we didn't talk about that we didn't mention were going to come out / had came out.
Okay.
But I want to mention the first one. T-Pain dropped his cover album. Like it's an album of just covers.
I heard he was doing that. I didn't know he dropped that yet.
That was really cool, and I wanted to shout this project because it's really cool
on
that
top
T-Pain.
of the covers.
Yeah, on top of the covers, dude. It's crazy.
He's so funny.
It's really cool that T-Pain listened to his fans. Like really, like he took the fact that his fans are saying, "Oh, we love when you do covers. You gotta do like just a project full of covers." And then he actually did it. Like he actually just did a project full of covers of songs he really loves, of songs that are important to him and important to his life. And he just dropped it, and it's really cool for him to just do his renditions of these songs. I particularly enjoy the Tennessee Whiskey one.
I gotta listen to this.
And it's cool because T-Pain shows off what fans of him, like real fans of him, already know, which is that he can sing without autotune. Autotune was a choice, like for stylistic purposes, but on this entire album, there is no autotune to be seen. Like he just sings, he's just singing. Yeah, like that's it. He's just singing, and it's great. He just does a great job, and you get to hear like just his like pretty much just natural voice.
Wow.
And that's just really cool. That's really cool to hear. And he's a very powerful singer, and he really delivers on this for me. And the instrumentation too isn't just like, you know, the same exact thing we got from those songs. He has studio musicians on here, and they're doing things, and they're giving it like a live feel, and it's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds sick. I really gotta check that out.
It definitely is. Shout out T-Pain, man. Really, really, really.
We love T-Pain.
Yeah. Amazing. Legend. And the second album I want to talk about was Navy Blue dropped an album, Ways of Knowing. I had no idea. I literally just saw on Twitter that he had dropped it. So I don't know how late we are on that, but Ways of Knowing, I got the opportunity to listen to it. Great.
I don't think I've ever listened to Navy Blue.
Oh, dude, I think you'd really like him. I think you'd really, really like him. He's really cool.
Cool. I got more on the list.
So a recommendation for you guys, go listen to Ways of Knowing by Navy Blue. Really, really dope underground rapper. Has been for the last few years now. Definitely go check him out. Has a really tight discography, and this was another great addition to it. He sounds very in love on this album. He's doing some singing a little bit too, which is really cool. Very different. Definitely recommend to go check that out.
Damn. Yeah. Loading up my list.
So if you're listening to this, it's on Friday, I hope, if everything went well. And there's 2 albums that are coming out. I'm sure there's a bunch of albums that are coming out, but 2 that we wanted to highlight today. The first that we're going to highlight is Tyler, the Creator, is dropping the Call Me If You Get Lost, The Estate Sale, kind of deluxe album. I think he said 8 new songs on there, which is a lot of new Tyler content. I think it's a warm up to whatever album he's been working on. I'm really excited to hear it. Just off the 2 singles he dropped, Dogtooth and Sorry Not Sorry, it already sounds like it's going to be great. And
dude, that shit is so... Sorry Not Sorry has to be, at least visually, one of the best songs that's dropped this year. I mean, like, he's fucking rapping, and he doesn't stop rapping on that song. It's so fucking insane.
I think
it was so cool.
It might be the best music video of the year so far.
Definitely.
If I'm tripping, but I
think
so.
Definitely.
Like, that music video is incredible and
100%.
so cool, so creative, and so fitting for him to do it as someone who's had like these so many different personas and characters or whatever.
Yeah.
And versions of himself or not himself.
Just to see all of them in one setting and see all of them like kind of die, I guess, was really cool.
Yeah, get like taken out like that.
Yeah.
That was so cool. And you said it perfect. He is rapping. Like he just
fucking rapping.
The
dude.
entire song is just rapping.
And like the different personas kind of like also chiming in, like the Cherry Bomb one in particular.
Yeah, the Goblin one too. Like
yeah, the Goblin one.
That was so cool.
So sick.
Yeah, really, really, really cool. I am super excited to listen to that today when this comes out.
Me too.
So yeah, make sure to definitely keep an eye out for that, for Tyler the Creator's deluxe version of Call Me If You Get
Instantly
Lost.
copped the vinyl too.
Oh yeah,
Like
I hope it gets
that
reissued.
baby blue was so nice. No, he already has it on his site.
Really, the estate sale one? Damn, that's
It's right there.
tough.
Instantly cop that shit.
Nice.
Triple vinyl.
Triple,
Very
that's
cool.
crazy.
And he calls it Geneva Blue.
Geneva Blue.
Stupid.
Tyler's one of those artists that I'm always so excited to
him.
hear what he has to say, what sound he's gonna bring. I don't know if he's gonna go something totally different, if he's gonna go something that's more similar to Sweet. I Thought You Wanted to Dance on the next album, the one after the deluxe. I don't know what he's gonna do, but I'm excited for it. I can't wait. Really, he's just he's so freaking cool, man, and I just love that he's an example of an artist who's always himself. Like that's so freaking cool, man.
Without a doubt. There's no really like stopping him. He will do what he wants, and I am all for that at every single point. And this is somebody who's not even like a huge Igor fan. Like I didn't love that album when it dropped. So like just the fact that like I can have respect for him and all of that, just seeing like how those albums made him feel and like why he made those albums, it makes sense. Like you always have to support that kind of creativity. Like we were talking about on the first podcast. Like you really got to venture out and like try whatever the fuck you want to try. Like,
and you know what? Next episode we are going to talk about our favorite Tyler album from the last 4 album run, or I guess
yes, sir.
4.5 when this deluxe comes out. Next episode we're going to talk about that because definitely I have a lot to say about his albums, and I think you do too. I think we have differing opinions too, so we have that'd be really cool for sure.
I think so too.
The second album that we wanted to highlight that just came out today, when you guys are hearing this, is The Great Escape by Larry June and The Alchemist, a collab album. I believe Alchemist also has a rap feature on there. I think he raps on one of the tracks, which is really cool.
That's interesting.
Really, really, really excited to hear that. I already know with Alchemist it's going to be insane production.
Oh, I mean, it's always amazing.
Yeah. And just excited to hear what him and Larry June are cooking up together. The rollout's been there. I see that they're putting a lot of effort into it. So I'm really excited to see what the project's going to sound like. So make sure you guys check that out tonight. Wanted to talk about real quickly some news that dropped up that came out in the hip hop world. 2 albums that I'm really excited for. Madlib confirmed that him and Mac Miller, that collab album is complete. So Maclib is done, and that's gonna be dropping at some point this year, which I can't wait for.
By the way.
That's gonna be crazy.
Will fucking cry.
It was approved by the Miller estate. His team and his family. So I have no doubt that if they approved it, that they feel like it's something that was a really beautiful representation of Mac Miller's work and something that he would have wanted to be released. Yeah. So with that in mind, I'm really excited to listen to the project. Also, Metro Boomin and JID have a collab album together.
I mean, that one is just shocking. I didn't expect that shit at all.
I didn't expect an album. like a full-on collab
I
album,
mean, a
not just a
song
song.
makes sense. A song makes sense, but like
Right.
a fucking collab album with probably some help from Christo. Oh my god.
Dude, it's gonna be so crazy. And this is one of the things that I've wanted was for Jid to start going on more on different producers' beats. Not because anything with Crystal. Crystal's insane. Crystal's amazing. But just to hear what would happen if he collabs with a Metro Boomin, with a Madlib, with an Alchemist, with a Dr. Dre, you know, with all these different producers, with a No ID. This is what I've been wanting to hear. I'm so excited for this project. I just know that the type of production that Metro Boomin provides, plus Jid's ability to be both melodic and then also like just explosive from a rap perspective, I think we're gonna get something that's so exciting. Probably something that's more similar to like the DiCaprio 2 side of things, like something more in that vein sonically. If I had to guess, like comparatively, what was gonna be the closest to. And I can't wait for it, man. Really, I can't wait for it. I think it's gonna be great, 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 great. So that's
I
two
agree.
albums, hopefully within this year, that we just got the news for and confirmation of. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. It's something to be excited about, something to keep an eye out for. Tyler, any thoughts?
I mean, when I heard about the news about the Mac one in particular, I was in slight disbelief. I was like,
Yeah,
no,
right?
that's not happening. I was like, that's not happening. No, there's no way. But
Yeah.
it just, the more it kind of sat with me, I got so like, my heart was just warmed. The fact that I'm going to be able to hear him again and just hear him on those beats.
Yeah,
It's
new raps.
It's really, really exciting. Shall we maybe get into some recommendations?
I think it's time. For some recommendations. The second ever recommendations.
Did you go first last time?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Fuck.
You got it, bro. It's your time. It's your turn. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. This next song I've been really listening to a lot. I'm sure. I mean, we got a lot of hip hop listeners on here. I'm sure we all know Nujabes.
Yes.
Okay,
Rest
cool.
in peace, Nujabes.
This song has been sitting with me for a little bit. It's off Metaphorical Music.
Okay.
It's the song "Think Different." I think this song is so fucking sick. Like the beat is so fucking cool. Just the movement with the chords, it fits so perfect. It's
Nice.
with Substantial. It's a great song. Please check it out. I mean, this is a fucking really early song, early 2000s. This is like 2003-ish. It's like really, really cool. It reminds me of something Dilla would do. Like it was really cool.
That is awesome.
Really, really cool.
That is sick. Really cool recommendation. Definitely gonna go listen to that. So, interestingly enough, my recommendation also goes back in time quite a bit. And leading up to this episode, I wasn't sure what my recommendation was gonna be. And I wasn't like overthinking it. I was just like, I'm sure it's gonna come to me at some point. And it came to me today.
Okay.
My recommendation is Fantasy by Mariah Carey. Dude, when I tell you,
Interesting.
I've always loved this song, and like once a year, I hear it somewhere or in some shape or form, and I just get reminded to go listen to it on repeat for the next few months. And it happens every single year. And
Oh, I know this song.
yes. And today I was in a lift, and
Yeah.
this
It came on?
this gentleman just had it. It came on the radio
Wow.
or whatever, and it just happened. And I just got like a flashback, and it put me like in an amazing mood. And literally after it turned off in the car, I put my earbuds in and I played it again. And I played Fantasy again. It is a classic. Needless to be said, I'm sure so many of you have already heard it. It's an R&B classic song. Mariah Carey's amazing vocals, the super sweet instrumentation. That synth is amazing. It is so cool on the chorus. Honestly, a classic song that will never get old. You gotta listen to it if you haven't listened to it. Fantasy by Mariah Carey, R&B classic. So that's my recommendation.
That's fire. That's a great recommendation.
Yeah, so definitely make sure y'all check that out. Think Different by Nujabes and Fantasy by
Fantasy.
Mariah Carey. Really hope you
Wow.
guys listen to those. If you do, be sure to tell us what you think. If you guys rock with it, if you don't rock with it, and yeah, and that's our recommendations
Yeah.
for the third episode of the Listen to This podcast. I think it's time for us to get out of here. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you guys so much for listening or for watching. Please continue to enjoy music and be creative. And much love to all of y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Perfect.
Soleil.